I believe we're entering a golden dawn, family. Not because the world is becoming easier or, the technology, whatever the case may be, but because those who actually cultivate their resilience, those who cultivate, right? Culture, cultivate. It means to tend to prune, right? To help something grow. They cultivate their wisdom. They invest in their health. I told somebody the other day, I'm always seeking how I can become better, sharper, smarter, more healthy, more energy, more youthful, right? I'm constantly stepping up to my power and my masculinity. Sexual performance too. I can knock myself out the box since I was 25 to now. Is no comparison. Everything is constantly going to the next level. That's me. Cultivating every aspect and always shining brighter than before, shining brighter than the last day, the last year. How many people out there strive to shine brighter every day, every year, every month? So the key is this. I talked about timelines in the beginning. And nobody likes to hear anything about fear. That's part of that snowflake stuff generation. Everything got to be cupcakes and Kool-Aid and sweet and cater to your ego and to your senses and to what you want it to be. Life doesn't work like that, right? You will get sick sometime. There will be breakups sometime. People are going to die. Everybody's going to die, right? So it's time for reality. And the reality is a huge part of humanity is degenerating. I did a video today. I didn't even want to put it up. I said, it doesn't really uplift people, but it's the truth. When was the last time we had a superstar? When was the last time we had a musical group that was actually phenomenal or the world loved them? When was the last time we produced the level of art? You see, humanity's civilization is built on the level of their artifacts. I was a student of archaeology. I was going to be an archaeologist for a small portion of time, change majors. But one of the ways they denote the level of sophistication of the brain is the level of artifacts of a culture. And it tells you about their level of abstract thinking, their level of creativity. All of these things are higher brain functions, soul level functions. AI cannot replicate that. See? When was the last time we had a towering athlete like Muhammad Ali, Bruce Lee, right? When was the last time we had a Michael Jordan? Please don't say LeBron. Nothing on Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the god of basketball, and everybody knows it on every level. So when do what happened? Because you are degenerating. People are becoming less. People are thinking less. People are copycats. People are soft. Men are soft. Testosterone is at its lowest level. Humanity, a portion of humanity, most of humanity is degenerating. As above, so below. As in beginning, so in the end. That's just the equilibrium. So you have ascension and descension. A few people are ascending, but those are the ones that's putting in the work. Does that make sense? So what timeline will you experience? We have timelines where humans pretty much become drones. They're becoming what AI is just accelerating everything. It's speeding everything up, just like everything getting hotter, vibrating faster, going to different density levels. It's just putting a battery in everybody's back to propel them to where they were going in the first place. That's what judgment is, to take your ass where you always was going in the first place, right? The whole book of Revelation, I'm about to get in the book of Revelation, is all about revealing who's who on the planet Earth. Who's your daddy? Who do you serve? Who do you obey? That's the question. Are you awake? Are you alive? Do you have the Spirit of God in you? The bottom line, do you have a soul? That's why it's written, He restoreth my soul. You're not going to get a soul or restoreth your soul unless you cultivate your soul. You have to work on that. You have to work. So I invite you to join us at the Reset down here in Atlanta. It's a full day training event, approximately 10 hours when you include the full lunch and the full dinner, the rooftop experience, all of the training, the textbook. It's down here in Atlanta, and we're going to spend the entire day going through practical tools of the nervous system, strengthening your resilience, connecting with like-minded people. We're going to do role play. We're going to do skits. We're going to have fun. It's going to be music. It's going to be phenomenal. Ask anybody who's ever come out. So you can find out more at hiddenpowercommunity.org. And once again, everything is 20% off. Coupon code is SOLAR20 and limited supplies, and that ends on Monday. So for deeper training, you can join our community at hiddenpowercommunity.org, where you always get discounts and you get access to all of the courses, all of the exclusive Inner Circle series content. It's if you would look at YouTube is approximately 5%. It's the tip. It's just a small amount. The vast majority of the teachings is all inside of the community. The future is coming. The question is not whether the earth is changing or not. The earth is absolutely changing and will continue to change. The question is, will you evolve? Will you train your nervous system? Will you strengthen your body? Will you find your tribe and become the signal? So we're going to see everybody who's serious on the inside, and we're going to open it up for some questions right now. And I need to get the likes up to 50. And then we'll go into Revelation, the vials, the bowls, the trumpets, the seals. And we're going to talk about why Nazir, why are you talking about the book of Revelation? Because the book of Revelation is really the book of alchemy. It's a book of ascension. It's revealing the truth about everything that's going on in terms of a transition point and a graduation stage in the soul's journey through eternity. And I remember growing up, I would say maybe 10, 11 years old, 12. And I was just so infatuated with the book of Revelation. I spent many summer days while kids were out playing, just reading the book of Revelation, scaring myself to death. And never did I know that it was all for a purpose, all for me to learn metaphysics, to learn science, and then circle all back with a sharper lens to be able to see it for what it is. Revelation. Any questions? Anybody experiencing that heat? I see people put the fire emoji up there. We had a lot of heat down here in Atlanta. It's always hot. I'm used to it. But see, down here, every house is built with central air, right? So the AC just blows throughout the house. Did you know most places on earth don't even have that? See how you take things for granted when it's, you have it so easily, it's put in front of you. You take it for granted. Most places on earth don't have central air, even in Europe. They scratching, fighting, and biting, trying to get their hands on one they can slap in the window. Throughout the South, any new house you buy in the South, it has central air. Whole house cool. Whole house. So let's move forward. Dragons and snakes in the book of Revelation is one, a larger function of another. Dragon, a dragon is a serpent to the next level, right? A serpent represents an earthly being or earthly information, and is more or less more of a feminine symbol, the serpent. And then you have the eagle or the hawk, which is a masculine symbol, and it's also more of a symbol of a heavenly presence or a cosmic energy, okay? Because birds ascend towards the heavens. When you put the serpent together with the hawk or the eagle, now you have a dragon. So that represents, in a more animated way, the six-pointed star. So when you have the six-pointed star, you have the masculine principle and you have the feminine principle, and you put it together, you have a six-pointed star. That comes from ancient Egypt. And when you put the snake together with the hawk or the eagle, now you have a dragon. Okay, they both represents the union of masculine and feminine. When you see the caduceus or the medical symbol, you have the serpent, and at the top you have the wings. That's another expression or motif of a dragon. So when you go to the doctor, you go into a dragon, right? You go into a person who wears the symbols of the unification of the masculine, the feminine, the electrical, and the magnetic. And that all is corresponded in your nervous system or your spinal cord. This is why the Kundalini rises up the spinal cord, which represents the vagus nerve, which is the super highway of communication from the heart, all your organs to the brain. Okay, so it's almost like an intermediary from heaven to earth. Okay, a lot of powerful symbols to that. In fact, if you look at the vagus nerve, how it branches out, it actually forms across. It forms across. So there's different layers of all of this information, different and higher degrees. When your eye is open, you can see, okay, that's just the vagus nerve. Let's go into Revelation. Let's get these likes up to 50 and let's get some more questions. Likes up. Does this coincide with the motif of Garuda, riding the Garuda? It absolutely does. What happens is these birds actually feed on snakes and they feed on earthly creatures. So they're looked at as opposites. But when you're able to ride on the eagle or ride the hawk, it represents you are now in control of that what used to consume you. This is why, in all truth, you're supposed to ride the beast. But in the book of Revelation, the wrong person is riding the beast. Who's riding the beast in the book of Revelation? What's the title of the person who rides the beast in the last days in the book of Revelation? And to ride something is to control it. It is to guide it and direct it. The harlot. So harlot energy is actually running the system right now. This is why it's a green light for whole activity here in especially the West. It's a green light for it's protected, right? Because that energy is guiding and directing and in control of the system. The system is the beast. You see? So when you have the Garuda and you're able to ride it, now you're putting the right consciousness back on the throne, riding the beast. The same thing with the motif in ancient Egypt, right? You had Set or Apep, who is the demonic figure of the underworld, and Heru, through the power of Set, is able to subjugate Apep, and now he rides him. Right now, he's working for the king. You see, he's working for. And the other aspect of it is this: the devil or the resistance, whatever words you want to call it, is supposed to work for you. He's supposed to be your employee. Remember, he's an angel, but he's only your opponent until you're able to embrace that and amalgamate that or harmonize yourself with your shadow. You're supposed to harmonize yourself with that. It's supposed to become one. You're supposed to put it in divine order. Just like any domesticated animal, you're supposed to domesticate that beast. You're supposed to train it. See? Same thing when you run in your household. When you're the leader, things need to be in order. Everybody need to be acting right and trained. You're supposed to learn it when you were growing up. Some people, you got to teach them again. Talking between the lines a little bit. Likes up. Let's go. Anyway, let's go into the bowls. In the book of Revelation, certain bowls are poured out on the earth, right? And they represent trials and tribulations, and it's interpreted as the wrath of God being poured down on earth. And in many ways, when you read the whole thing, it's really trying to figure out who's going to endure to the end, or who are my people. So it's a purification, and some people look at it as a test and trials and tribulations, those who endure to the end. Did you endure these things? Okay. So Revelation 16:8-9. Everybody pull out that dusty Bible. If you have one, pull it out. So you know I'm not making this up. And it's going to sound exactly like today. So the fourth angel poured out his bowl on the sun, and the sun was allowed to scorch people with fire. Melanoma, skin cancer, people being scorched with fire. And this is the closest imagery in Revelation to today's record-breaking heat, widespread human suffering. Can you imagine how those people must have suffered to be baking to death in their house? I'm sure you've been hot before, but can you imagine being so hot that you actually die? That's a long, slow, painful death. Suffering, pestilence, human distress. Today, we're witnessing hotter temperatures, dangerous warm nights, heat-related illnesses, crops are being burned up, and increased pressure on the electrical grids. What's going to happen when all of these Teslas are charging at night? If you have one or electrical vehicle, you know that you charge it at night when the grid is under less pressure. What happens when everybody charging? Everybody's AC is blowing full blast. The grid could shut down. Now you burning up too, like you in France. See? So everything is heating up. Number two, the first trumpet is blown. This is Revelation chapter 8, verse 7. And a third of the earth was burned up. A third of the trees burned up. And all the green grass was burned up. So the greenery, 1/3 of it. And this imagery closely resembles the large-scale ecological destruction around the world at unprecedented levels. Wildfires. We just had the wildfires a few years back in South America. Remember Brazil and the whole rainforest was on fire? Y'all remember that? It was a powerful correspondence with that. That's when I rolled out the Revelation series. Those who know, check the record. As soon as I started breaking down the book of Revelation in that Revelation series, that 19-day course, the fire started exactly at that time in South America. Exactly. So around the world, you have in this fire. Canada, California was burning for a long time, burning up people's houses. Am I right or absolutely right? Australia, the Mediterranean. We just talked about South America, the rainforest. Whether interpreted symbolically or literally, the passage reminds the reader of the vulnerability of the forest, of the agriculture, and the ecosystems. So these things will continue. We haven't got to the level where it's 1/3, but it's going in that direction. And all my AI buffs, just ask AI. Right? Everybody, jumping on AI. Ask AI if you need your daddy to tell you what I'm saying is all wise, right, and exact. Number 3, Revelation. This is chapter 6:12-14, as well as 11:19, chapter 16, verses 18-21. And this goes into the passages that go into these earthquakes. You have the thunder, lightning, hail, and tremendous upheaval across earth. Upheaval is absolutely coming, but it doesn't have to affect you. It doesn't have to affect you the same way it's going to affect others, but it all depends on your nervous system broadcasting the correct signal to get you to an experience that you consciously choose. Most people are not consciously making any choices. They're not consciously building themselves to be prepared for anything. They're just going along with, like oblivious, like the Matrix says, living their lives oblivious. I'd like to sign off right now. You can leave your questions in the comments and I'll entertain those maybe in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share the video. Please support yourself at hiddenpowerwellness.com. Get coherent, get regulated. If you look, like I said before, if you're interested in deeper teachings and connection with the family, we're available as well. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. I trust that message resonated with you, but remember, it's just the surface. Inside hiddenpowercommunity.org, you're going to find the personal interaction and the deeper teachings to accelerate your spiritual growth. For a limited time, we're offering a free gift for all new members. Don't miss out. Step up to your power. Visit hiddenpowercommunity.org, and we'll see you on the inside. Shalom.